Hi all, welcome back. So we're finishing off our pastrami today. So that's been curing for a little bit longer than required. So I've had that actually in the cure for about 6 days. Only due to work commitments really, and the time that it takes to cook. And I wanted to get it out in our smoker outside. So as you can see, so I did 2 different cuts as I mentioned prior. So I've done the blade roast and I've also done a brisket. Now I made the mistake of actually not turning the blade roast, so you can see that the colour change, you've got a little bit around there where the cure didn't fully get to it, but look, that's okay, it's not the end of the world if that happens, but you can see how the cure's worked and the difference in the colour there. Alright, so what we're going to do is, like I said, so we'll put our pastrami seasoning on there now. So what I've done is I've made my own sort of pastrami seasoning. So what's gone into there is, what do we pop in this one? So we've got some coriander, mustard seeds, ground black pepper, smoked paprika, if I can say that correctly, kosher salt, brown sugar and garlic powder. So I've actually tripled the recipe, so it normally only just calls for around 2 teaspoons of mustard, coriander and ground pepper, 1 tablespoon of paprika, 1 teaspoon of kosher salt, half a teaspoon of brown sugar and half a teaspoon of garlic powder. So I've tripled that, just so I've got some left over for later when I want to make some more. So you just toast your coriander seeds and your mustard seeds, then you ground them up and mix it all in with your other seasonings, and away you go. Alright, so let's cover it. So we'll start with our brisket. So we'll pop that one there. So you want to give it a good covering on all sides. I said the brisket we'll start with, but we'll start with the roast. So once it's all covered, what we're going to do is, this will go in the smoker for roughly about, depending on the size, if you're looking at like 1 full roast, it's about 2 kilos, 2.5 kilos. You're looking at anywhere from, at about 100 degrees Celsius, probably about 6 hours to get a really nice smoked flavour on that one. So you want to make sure that you get all the sides on it. On these ones, leave the fat on. That works out really well when you're doing your pastramis. It just adds to the flavour. That'll sort of melt in there with the, obviously render down with your heat in your smoker. There we go. So 1 pastrami. All right, let's do we'll do the brisket. We'll get them in the smoker.
All right. So we've got our pastrami in our makeshift smoker. So really it's just a barbecue kettle grill. But what we've done is we've got our rocks in there. I've got some mesquite wood chips in there. So that'll help with the smoking. So we've got our 2 roasts in there, the brisket and the roast. So they'll go in for, to start with, for 3 hours. And I'll check and see how they're going. I do have a little bit of water in there just to help keep some moisture, but again, as they've been curing for 6 days, they've got a fair bit of moisture in them, and I've got the dog who wants to already get into them. All right, so let's wait and see the finished result. All right, so the pastrami's been done for 5 hours in the smoker. As you can see, lovely. So we've already sliced it open and had a few pieces. Fantastic, nice and juicy.